What's up guys, Crash Potato here, and today we take a look at the Misc Starfarer. We take a look at the interior of the Misc Starfarer. I'm not going to bundle it with the flight. I will do the flight of the Starfarer in a separate video, because as you're about to see, the interior of this ship is absolutely massive. So to try and show off every sort of room on the interior and the flight is going to be an extremely long video. And I figured I'd split them up because some people might not have seen the interior of the Starfarer, and maybe you're curious, maybe you're like me when I first got my Starfarer and you get lost and you want a little bit of a tour guide. I'm going to be that tour guide today. So the first room that you're most likely going to enter from is this massive cargo bay, which you could fit a decent amount of stuff in here. You could fit some small ships in here. You're not going to have any trouble with cargo. Obviously it's not a cargo hauler, this is a fuel tanker, but you've got that cargo potential and you've got quite a lot of it. So you've also got these 6 little sort of seats. I wouldn't really call them proper seats, but they're sort of utility seats. So you've got 6 of those on each side. So a total of 12. So you could have 12 passengers back here as well. So you get quite a lot done in this little room. So going through this center of the ship, we've got this little docking room, which has your docking collar there, and it's got what I presume to be an escape pod here, or maybe that's an airlock sort of entrance, an extra entrance, but I think it's an escape pod on each side. I'm not sure why you would need an escape pod in this room, so it might not be an escape pod, it might be an additional entrance, but it's there anyway. So moving on, that's pretty much all there is on the first floor. We go up to the second floor, which is weird to think that a ship has multiple stories to it, but the Starfarer does. It's got 4 stories to it. It is quite the maze of a ship. So you got this little room, which is above the cargo entrance bit, sort of an airlock, because as you can see, it goes out into the catwalk, which would be in outer space. It does have gravity on it, so you're not going to float around, but obviously it is going to be an open space. And you've got these fuel tankers here, so this is a fuel tanking ship. It's a refueling sort of platform more than a ship. It's essentially, its role is to fly to giant gas giants and absorb the fuel and then process that into actual fuel, and then sell that fuel either to players or to a station or wherever, or just to use it for your own fleet. So you got this little catwalk that looks over the cargo area, and then you got this little cargo management room, or what I assume to be a cargo management room. Obviously this monitor isn't functional yet, but I'm assuming this is going to be where we will manage what's in our cargo and all that jazz that we've seen with the cargo management. So we've seen a bit of how the management will do. And then we've got this escape pod room, which has 6 escape pods. So the Starfarer is listed as a 7 crew ship, so you can sustain life for 7 crew. So you might assume, with only having 6 escape pods, that the captain is expected to go down with the ship, but as you'll see later on, that's not necessarily the case. We do have extra escape pods throughout the ship. We do have 4 more. I believe there's 4 extra escape pods. There might be more, there might be 6, there might be 8 more. There's a lot of escape pods around the ship. So you got this little captain seat in the middle. So that's obviously where this captain will sit. You don't have any sort of monitors. You got some really bright displays there, but you don't really have any screens to work with. That's basically just a seat where you would sit and you would just command everyone. You'd tell the pilot what to do, the co-pilot what to do. You're giving out the orders, which I think sounds really cool, and as probably the role I will play. I've done it a few times in the universe just with randoms, just sort of letting someone else fly my ship and just telling them what to do, and it's a really great feeling. So yeah, that's the business end of the ship. So let's move on onto the 3rd floor of the Starfarer, which is the maintenance floor, but we are going to skip ahead. So this is where you can get lost, but luckily you do have markers on the floor for when you do get lost. So just follow the markers. So back down there is the cargo, there's maintenance, and this way is the living quarters. And you've got these funky little lifts, which are very small little lifts, but obviously it's inside a ship, so it doesn't need to be very fancy, but it's quite fun to go up and down. And you do have a ladder down there, so if the power's out or the lift's broken or whatever, you do have the ladder instead. You got this seat in the middle here, which is to access the massive size 5 turret, which is on top of the Starfarer. And then you've got that little room that goes down to maintenance. We'll check that out later. You got the canteen area, or the sort of eating area, or just really the living quarters in general. So you got your little kitchen here. So you got this little thing, which I'm assuming is some sort of waste disposal sort of bin kind of thing. You got these, which I'm assuming are fancy futuristic ovens, and you got the counters to process your food, and then obviously you've got the little canteen table, so you can have all your food in there. Then you've got your captain's quarters. So this is where the captain's gonna stay. He's got his nice little desk with this big monitor on it, which I'm assuming is gonna have sort of a broad oversight of the entire ship. But it might not have anything useful, but I'm assuming being the captain's quarters, it's going to have useful information, so you can spend as much of your time in here as possible. So you got the captain's bed with very captain-like bed covers there, really suited, and you got this little ensuite toilet and sink. I would call it an ensuite bathroom, but you can't really call it a bathroom when it doesn't have a bath. But you know, what can you expect? It is a ship, after all. You know, you might be mistaken to think it's a station, but it is a ship. So on the opposite side of the captain's quarters, you've got this, which is obviously for the crew sleeping quarters. You've got these 6 beds in here. So it's the 6 of the rest of the crew. So that's where the 7 living space comes in. And you've got these male and female bathrooms, which the doors are a little funky. If you just open it and you don't move, it kind of instantly closes. So you got to kind of open it and run. But yeah, you got male and female, because obviously if you're going to have 7 crew on a ship, you're going to want to have multiple bathrooms. You don't want to be waiting around. You got a ladder down here, which goes down to maintenance, which we will check out now, but we're going to go down this way just to cover every bit of every area of the ship as possible. So I'm going to take the lift down. Obviously I could have just jumped down, it's not really a big drop or anything, but what's the fun in that? It's more fun to take the lift down. So you can tell now straight away, you can tell we're in maintenance. So you've got loads of panels, you've got loads of lights, you've got loads of exposed units. It's sort of messier, but still kind of tidy. So, but you can tell straight away it's maintenance. You can tell this is where everything gets fixed. So you got these little side panels, all these little side corridors. So I would assume, so you got a ladder here, which actually, yeah, let's go down the ladder. So this goes down to where we came in, the cargo bay, or the catwalk to the cargo bay, should I say. So that gives you nice quick access to the maintenance. So if you perhaps you're just monitoring your cargo and all of a sudden you have to fix something in maintenance, you can quickly get up here without having to run all the way up the stairs and all the way around, etc. We've got this creepy little monitor which seems to activate as I move past it. And you got this little crawl hole. Now, I'm not sure why this crawl hole is here, because as you'll see when we get out of here, there's a door that does the exact same thing. So why you would use the crawling hole instead of the door, I don't know, but there might be some purpose to it. Maybe if the power goes down, that door locks shut. Who knows? Maybe it's just preference. Some people like to crawl and some people like a door. So you can see, as I was saying before about the 6 escape pods, you've got 2 additional escape pods down here. So obviously, ideally, you're probably going to have a maintenance guy down here, or maybe 2 maintenance guys down here, constantly working maintenance and constantly prepared to work maintenance. So they're escape pods for them. Obviously, if shit hits the fan and they can't quite do their job as maintenance, they're gonna need a way out as well, just like the pilot, just like the captain, just like the co-pilot, and the engineers. So at the very back of the ship, we have one of two size 2 turrets. So these are on the tail. They're a bit glitchy in the hangar, but in the universe they're fine. But yeah, in the hangar they're a little bit of an issue. But I wanted to take a look at the ship's interior in the hangar, because I can tell you from experience, once you pull a Starfarer out in the universe, everybody and their grandmother wants to get on the ship, and it makes it really difficult to show off the ship in a peaceful environment, because you'll end up, within seconds, you end up with like 10 plus people just running around the ship and taking flight of the ship. So yeah, I'd much rather prefer this controlled area. So you got this little room here which has this massive component, which I'm not entirely sure what it is. I'm assuming it's the engine or something to do with the power supply. I'm assuming it's just the central core of the ship. It's where all the power comes from, I'm assuming. And if we go back here, just behind that we have the gravity generator, or at least I think it's the gravity generator. It looks like a gravity generator, but we don't really have them, so I'm not sure what one would look like. But if we did, it looks like what it would look like. And you got 2 extra escape pods here, so you got 4 in total in the maintenance area. You're probably not going to have 4 people working maintenance, but obviously you might have 1 on each side, you might have 2 on each side. They're just going to be running from side to side, so it's nice to give them quick access to maintenance no matter where they are in the ship. But that covers pretty much everything in the ship. We got through that actually a lot quicker than I thought I would. But yeah, that's the whole ship. So we're back where we came up. This goes back down to the cargo. So I hope you enjoyed this look at the Starfarer, and in my next video I will be taking this out into the universe and we'll see how this thing flies for anyone that's interested in the flight of the Starfarer. Later, staters.